I'm just going to start with a little blessing or a karakia. In this moment of sharing space, of possibilities, of moemoea dreams, may the swirls of the waters from the Maitai awa, the breeze that gently caresses Maitai Awhio, bless our conversations and the stream of Awhio. Tihei Māori.
Mauri tū, mauri ora, ko wai tēnei, e tuaki mui a koutou i tēnei wā. Ko Louisa tōku ingoa, he uri tēnei no Ngāti Rangiwewehi, Ngāti toa, rātou ko Ngāti Koata. So my name is Louisa Paul. I've been involved in many situations and events and everything else throughout my life. Oh yeah, let them in. Yeah. And I'd just like to acknowledge everybody in this room who's taken the time to come and hear what we are going to be sharing today, and I acknowledge your ancestors and everything that you've done, your experiences, the whole lot. And so I'll hand the time back to Donna, and then we'll get into what Awhio is about.
Ko puke oni ko toi wharepapa nā maunga, ko motuhiki ko rewa ka nā awa, ko te awhina te marae, ko Ngāti Rārua, ko te Ātiawa, nā iwi. So I'm from Motuhika. Even though I whakapapa both into Ngāti Toa and to the iwi here, I grew up as te Ātiawa. I have this beautiful, beautiful history of Māori theatre with the wonderful Rangiwewehi Taylor, who's just finally got this being recognised, and also curating. So I have a passion for our artists, our stories, and the art and how we tell our stories. So Awhio is a wonderful place for me to be at this time.
Ka pai, so we'll get into it. Now, I didn't give a bit of a background as to who I was in terms of where I've been in my journey within the arts. So I was taught by a kuia here, one of my ancestors, tupuna, who wove. And the reason she wove was for buying bread, buying food for her family, all of those kind of things. And then as she aged, she had all of these skills and knowledge that was passed down to her. I took the opportunity to go visit her one day, asking if I could learn to weave. She goes, come, I have one of your cousins coming round too, so it'd be good. My cousin never showed up. I was so happy because then my auntie was able to turn her energy in that towards helping and supporting me. And so she taught me how to weave a whāriki, not a whāriki, she taught me how to weave a kete whiri, which is a woven bottom kete. And then I showed her my work. It was a mess. And then she goes, I've got a contract, there's a conference coming in, I need you to make 100 of them now. And so I apologised to my children, to my husband at the time, that nothing is going to be done, I have to help with this. And through her pressure and that on me, I was able to then learn how to weave those pretty darn well. We were on the ferry, you know, every opportunity was a learning opportunity. She saw it for me. And so we'd be on the ferry, someone would be weaving, she'd go over there. And so I'd go over there, and then she'd start the conversation, and then I'd take it up. Then when we'd get home, she'd go, make one. And I'd be like, done. And that was before videos and, you know, cell phones and photos and all that kind of stuff. And so that's kind of how I learned. I always acknowledge her. I've also been working for iwi, so I've had to work in a bicultural partnership most of my life. It's innate, it's what we do. And so having this opportunity here to invite the community into what we would consider our normal world is fantastic. And so, like we were saying, oh, Anne. What? Hi, Anne. So this Awhio wouldn't be here without the support and the relationships that have been built and formed over the years with Anne as well. We've been talking here. And so it's just a nice reminder to have Anne with us on this floor, because partnership is always our outcome. Things don't move in silos. Do you want? She doesn't need. Does she need introduction? Yeah, of course not. And so I remember having a conversation just this morning with somebody, and Anne introduced us, and she was saying, you know, these people here have access to a number of over 60 artists, and the response was, where are they? You know, Māori artists, and it was like, oh, they're in our communities, they're next door, they're our cousins, they're our uncles, they're our brothers, and Awhio has kind of been a vision that's been dreamed for a long time, that how do we make that known within the public facing space. And so we felt that with Anne, Donna and us, for some reason we kind of came together, and we've been able to build this conversation from years and years and years in the making. Any addition? Because as you know, when you're weaving, when you're in your art spaces and everything else, you're in a zone. And so when you're in a zone, you have to pack it up, put it away, and then come back to reality. And so our feel is to try and readdress that so that we can be in that zone all of the time, celebrating each other, promoting, supporting each other within this space. And so that is why we have this. Yeah. Oh no!
I actually mentioned if this happens, we're fine, we're all good. We can talk about this without the slides. Let's see what happens.
Can you scroll down because it's a PDF? Would that work?
Interesting, guys. Interesting, because we're going to redo it.
Did you go through it?
Oh yeah, we did, and it worked before everybody got here. Yeah. There we go. So I'm a graphic designer, and so ignore all the squares and everything else through here. And I just want to acknowledge that with those talking heads there, Donna calls Teletubbies and everything else, comes a wealth of knowledge, experience, and people with us three. And so we were able to, through the common interest, come together and then dream. And so graphic designer, just keep that in mind because there's more coming down the line. So when we sat together and we dreamed, and this is it through myself, this is through my cousins and my aunties and everybody else, and our people that we work with, we all got to share a dream and then bring it together. And so we were thinking about a name, and we loved, Donna did a kariki about Mātangi Awhio, which is the Auckland Point. It used to be a huge area for trade and everything else, very significant to not only Māori, but to Whakatū Nelson. And so we were thinking, how can we place us here? And the word Awhio came up, and that refers to the swirling winds. So it is based as Mātangi Awhio, which was eras, which was a traditional trading place at Whakatū, but also Awhio refers to the creative processes that our artists, that as artists we go through in order to come with an outcome. And whatever that outcome is, it doesn't matter, you know, you just keep creating. And then we just came up with visions and mission statements in there, and it's Whakatū Toi Māori is renowned for arts excellence, it is, and that it's thriving in contemporary and traditional art forms. And so it's bringing it to the public more. I don't want to read, I don't know how we'll make this available. I find that when you do presentations and you're reading directly from it, it becomes really, really boring. Yeah, and I don't want to be like that. I try to make build my life around not being boring. And
I just want to acknowledge Isaac Anderson for our logo. So,
yeah. And you may have seen his work or you may not, but he does big, beautiful, beautiful murals and sculptures and stuff around the community, and also from here. And so we came up with a list of values that we want to run Awhio by, and these values are shared. Māori have words for them, other words for them, and so they're quite normal, but normal, is normal the word? Quite known. And so, but it's everything that we learn within wānanga during our times when we're together and we're producing our art. And we're having such a wonderful time doing it that we want to continue that within a collective space. All right. So thank you, Samara, for allowing me to move this in here. So we have Samara here who's featured on there. I said it's better to ask for forgiveness than for permission. And so thank you for that. Also, some of you who may not know, that's Hamuera. He's quite elevated within the kākahu or Māori thread kākahu realm. And so you could go up to Rotorua, which they just had, or go up north or anything else, and you could mention his name and he's kind of known throughout. So I'll ask him for forgiveness later too. But we also have kapahaka groups in there, and for those people who don't know, booking a venue for practices and everything else, we're competing with other teams that are booked all the time for opportunities and that to make our Māori art people thrive or flourish within our communities as well. But all of these people come with a whole range of experience and skills and talents and everything else, and we want them to be able to flourish within our field, wherever that may be. Anything else? Okay. All right, and so we had the opportunities and stuff that we all dreamed about what could be happening within that space. And one of these things is that it's, a lot of it for me was that I only see Māori art when there's an event happening or speakers coming in, or like I just recently, and I was going to put this in my CV, curated an exhibition at the Suda Art Gallery about moko. And so that was a time to celebrate our people, but we kind of want to normalise it somewhat within our community, that at any given time, it doesn't have to be those big events we're creating. And one of the biggest challenges that we had was trying to find a space, because we don't have millions, and I've heard comments, people say, oh, what about your iwi? I've worked with an iwi. Our iwi are looking after the social, cultural, educational, employment, housing, everything within it. And so the arts and stuff is embedded throughout it, but our iwi utilising money for the best of the wider needs of the iwi, not just arts. And so we're looking everywhere. And when we three came together, and it was through makeshift spaces, and Anne goes, there could be something coming up. And I hope it's the next slide. So this ideal venue has become available, and we're in discussions around the property, and we aim to move in by February. But the thing is that we have to show sustainable funding for them to allow us to go in. So we have strategies and stuff that are in place, like we're writing our trust deed and everything else so that we can get so we're able to apply for funding, external funding and everything else. Where we have visions and stuff to be able to create exhibition spaces, on sale space and that, because I was sitting uptown and this Māori family came in and they says, oh, we're just looking for a taonga from here so we can take it, we can koha it. And then I was like, well, wouldn't that be ideal? Because I know a number of artists that have all of that are able to support that. So we have a vision for this space. And so yeah, once we show that we have sustainable funding, then we can sign the lease. And that's the position that we're in at the moment. What if, yes, I use that. What if, but I forgot to put the Nelson part in. But what if Whakatū had Awhio in the community? And so, like I said, I'm a graphic designer, so when you look at the next photo, just go like that, look through it through blurred eyes, because if you look at through clear eyes, then you'll see all the mistakes. But what if Whakatū had Awhio in the community? Okay, so what if Awhio will provide an inner city Māori arts creative space, an education space for all that provides workshops with a Toi Māori focus, a gathering place for all creatives, a place for collaborative work within their given field, a place for exhibiting and purchasing authentic local Māori art, and Awhio is a place to dream. So Whakatū, let's dream big. I've just got one more thing to show, which is what we will not do, and we just need to be very clear about that, is that we won't replace iwi trusts in dunanga consultation. So if there are things where you have to consult with the iwi, we can help you find pathways to do that, but that still has to be done, or build relationships with them. And so, that's it.
I think that
Give Donna a bit to say,
so this site is on Paru Road. It is magnificent because it's on the river, and for us that's really important. So it's on the walkway. It's the last lot of buildings just down from the library, and after that there's grass and trees, and it's a beautiful creative site. Also not far from our friend Kiriopa, and I'm sure many of you remember his memorial. Our artists are desperate for spaces, so when I talk to people like Mai Heglin and Isaac Anderson, they're working in stone and they're working on huge, 15 metre, 20 metre bits of work, and they're on each other's lawns doing this work. And when it rains, they have to pull it all down and take it into the shed or something. So to be able to offer that amazing space for creatives to go big as they want to go is wonderful. I'm kind of more of a, as part of the Wakatuma Corporation whānau, who actually own this property, I'm probably a little bit, well, we all are actually.
Biased.
Yeah, I'm really biased. I believe that they should give it to us. So the possibilities of this site, at one stage we were looking at building waka, because it's just there. The possibility of the tourism and having little waka go up and down the river is wonderful, and it brings a reconnection for us back to the river as well. We have our wonderful cousin here, and I'm talking about, we're talking about, wouldn't it be great to do all these art walks, And she goes, I've got a certificate in walking tourism. I thought, no, you don't, and she does. I didn't know it existed, but it does. And so we have all these wonderful whānau members who have all these skills, and so that's exciting. My relationship with the Motueka Library, Te Noinenga Kumu, well, I had over 25 Māori artists and groups as well. Sometimes the artists represented 5 to 20 other people. Now, we need a bigger market than the Motueka market to sell our works to. So I had a wonderful relationship with the refinery where we were able to start bringing our artists through to the refinery. And this has actually been a problem for many non-Māori groups. How do you have a relationship with Māori? How do you get your Māori artists? It's all very well to say, look, we need Māori art, but how do you get Māori art? As artists, we're all very different, and I'll be quite frank, the mental health issues are an issue for us. Homelessness is where are you going to make your art? And one of our artists, one of our probably incredible artists, is living in emergency housing, you know. So how do you create? And then we have these wonderful groups here, like filmmakers, Māori filmmakers. We have writers, Matt Tate, you know, these incredible people are hidden within our communities at the top of the South. So isn't it wonderful that we have this place, this hub, to be able to bring them all together? And they may only choose to be there. We have studios. So we have 8 studios. When you walk in, it's hoped for that there will be some area where you can buy things. So things will be on display. Then there will be a gallery where hopefully we can do 10 to 12 exhibitions a year. Then there are 8 studios. Then at the back there's this huge space for warehouse space, for carving, for weaving, for doing sculpture work. Then we have a car park, and I'm a dreamer. Then we have a car park, this amazing car park. And I think, yay, Nelson Festival. We can have some events there, you know, put in picnic tables, have a food cart, because it is all fenced off, you know? So, you know, you've got to dream this. And, I mean, Nelson, I mean, this is a craziness. A lot of my thoughts were also, Nelson is holding Matatini, which is the largest gathering of Māori. You know, I am not a kapahaka person, but the kai is fantastic. And to think that we're just, with this side, which I believe is still Trafalgar for Matatini, how fabulous. We're just, you know, come and join us. The other thing is next year we actually have, next year in June, we have the secondary schools competition. So we have thousands of people coming to that as well. So those are huge events for this community. So it would be really nice to have not just a token gesture Māori face, but actually what we want to do is to make sure when our work goes on to different places, there's a story there. You know, it has some meaning. It's not just, okay, we've got this Māori thing, well that can go there, and then we'll stick this one here, and da-da-da. Why is it there? What is the story of the people that side? Is there a story? And if there isn't, well, we can make a new one up. You know, the choice of being creative people. So, you know, this is the thing for us, is let us gather all these talents together. Let us support each other as artists. Let us look at an economic base for our artists, which is so important. Let us also be able to feed out to the suitor, to the refinery, to other galleries that may want, well, that do want Māori art. And let us, you know, let us feel a belonging to this whenua, particularly now with the Nelson 10ths. You know, it is an interesting time for all of us in this community, and art is such a beautiful way to express not only our aroha for this whenua, our belonging to this whenua, our hopes for this whenua, but our stories.
Because we have just in the back, you know, like those, just refer back to that question, where are they? Are they working from their lounges, studios and all that kind of stuff? Like just in this small room, like we have kapahaka performers, we have weavers, we have narrators, we have project managers, we have curators and stuff that are sitting all within this space that are, I know Samara, that we've been talking often about having a place, and the marae was hopefully going to be there, but due to capacity and also the other directions that they're trying to do for the betterment of our people, we've never been able to claim a space that is there without having to pack away so someone else could use that venue. And so by having a place where we can just all walk in and out, you know, we have chefs and cooks and everything there, and it's just, we just want it to be a flourishing space for artistic creators.
Right, any questions?
Oh, any questions?
Comments?
or comments?
Let's do it.
So, yeah, I have a question. Is it just you two, or do you have a team that are coming alongside, you know?
So we
in terms
never
of-
work, even though we're up here in the face, you know, being the face, that we bring everybody with us. And so we're just trying to make it easier to allow them to come into that space.
Yeah, so my question, I suppose, is do you have the support that you need, you know, in terms of, you know, saying we need to be sustainable and sustainable funding, you know, that's a tricky one.
So we're, yeah, it's a great question. So we have to embark on a funding, and we need to be able to show Wakatu that we are able to meet the lease, because they haven't dealt with trust before. They normally deal with business people. So we're going to be a trust. And so we're doing a fundraiser at the moment. So we have some wonderful pledge forms here. And we're asking for Pūti to help us put on the table, hey Wakatu, here's your lease money, this has been pledged, we've got it, and we can move on. And basically, they're really supportive, but they also have shareholders, and they have to show, and Wakatu has made it really clear to many of us who are part of the incorporation, they're the business arm, you know, and they need to show their shareholders. It's the AGM this weekend, so it should be interesting for many of us. So that's what we need. And so these pledge forms are here. We have half the money that we need at the moment to show them that we can meet it, or just about half of it. And that was without even going out. This is the first time we have mentioned in public that we need pledges for this project. And when you talk about support, it works two ways. We've got this pledging happening, then we've got Nelson City Council, then we've got iwi money, then we've got other things. But at the moment, because we're not a trust, we have to do one thing at a time. So yes. Do we have the support of other artists and things like that? We were really careful. So when it came to Māori filmmakers, I went to Doug Brooks. And when it came to people who were writers, I talked to Matt, Weavers. So I basically pinged their people to get their ideas about it. We have walkthroughs happening next week to allow people to dream and to discuss how this works. You know. Yes. Kia ora, yes.
Just going back to your question earlier, Louisa.
Yes, hi. Good
How
to
to
see
get
you
hold of
again.
this presentation so that we might share it around. And could it go up onto your What If website?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, and then we can share it around our networks and get the word out about Ātiawa. Beautiful word, beautiful logo, beautiful dream.
Can we put disclaimer, I'm not a graphic artist? I'm not a graphic designer, that's an
fine.
interpretation of
That's
something.
fine.
Yeah.
Everything starts with a good idea and a dream.
And on that note, will there be Pledge Me or GoFundMe or something like that,
Yep.
you know, is an opportunity for people who do this project?
Give a little,
Give a little.
So we come from that, you know, te raudo nāku, te raudo kaora tata katoa. So with your contribution, with our contribution, anything can flourish. And so, like, we said at the beginning, we can't work in silos, and often it's really quite difficult. I know I have difficulty, and I've shared it with Anne and my other cousins and that know me too, that if I have to go public facing with cap in hand, I'm embarrassed, like a Mars head, and that's not my strength. And yet other people will say, oh, I'm okay with that. And if you're okay with that, then yes, let's do it. For our artists who may be here, who are here and stuff, we've been trying to figure out ways in which we can bring you all into that collective vision as it's the next phase into the dream.
Yeah.
So we've had the dream, and now we're moving it into the possible tangible, and then it's how do we bring everybody in so that they can feel it, you know, those things, feel it, taste it, smell it, all of it, and then you're kind of bought into it. And so it's an exciting but nerve-wracking place, and we've also had a discussion that what if we don't get this building? What if we can't? That doesn't stop the vision.
No.
It just stops the place. And so we will then continue looking at other ways and stuff like that in order to, whether it starts small or big, you know, it has to continue and carry on.
Beautiful. What is the number you need?
The number that we need, which would mean paying a manager and everything,
150
Yeah.
a year would be a start.
150 a year. And it's so funny, I was at the museum yesterday and they said something like, was it 40 million? You know, I'm thinking, well, we're asking for this tiny bit and we're finding it really hard to ask for this tiny bit of money.
Yeah.
So yes, it's an interesting thing, and we know once we get the trust up and going, we're going to be fine because we know that
Apply.
we have a high, well, unless everything changes again, that Māori art is a priority for many.
Yeah.
So yes.
And we were quite clear that our intention around this was for our arts and our artists. And so whatever the climate is that is out there, as long as we keep our mind on our art and our artists, we'll be fine wherever this happens. I just want to do a plug for me. Can I? All right. Ātiawa, I love your hat. It's stunning. Okay, thanks.
Order your hats at
No. So I'm one of these people who do arts, and I sit in my studio. It's not a studio, it's really just a room. And I weave, and I see something that I like, and I'll weave heaps of them. And then I've got a stockpile of everything that I've woven, because it's lovely while it's sitting in my studio or in my space. I don't like the word studio. In my space, but as soon as I take it into the public, then I feel like it's open for criticism, and I don't like that. And then when I take it into the public, then people are just like, oh, that's stunning, and I'm like, oh, okay. And so it's moving myself into those other realms. Great for other people and build them up, terrible for myself. So I just needed to do that.
Any other questions?
Well, it's more of a comment really, you know, again on the same thing, you know, because what you're doing is amazing, and it also, I just want to acknowledge the work you're putting in, because it's a huge amount of work that you're doing. But again, it's only 1,000 people pledging $150 a year, you know, and I really truly believe that there would be that will, and you know, there'd be a lot of homies in the region that would be really keen to help. Do you need help getting that out there?
Yes, yes, please.
Ka tuau ngā rekereke o te tupuna whae o Koata, i tōna tana o Paru. Miri ahau noko nei. Ka hinga ki te reo Pākehā. In 2011, I began my journey as an adult in the arts. I hoped to inspire my children to follow a passion that they love. They didn't have physiotherapy at MIT, and I couldn't go to university with 3 children around 5 or 8, between the ages of 5 and 8. And so art was the next option. I think 2012 maybe, we came together, the arts community, we're Māori artists, and the Arts Council at the time spoke about how to support Māori artists at Whakatimarai. And it was interesting because there was when I saw the different processes that Māori and Pākehā have and how that became a barrier for Māori artists to be supported. But the main kōrero that came back at that time was there is no place for us to create and wānanga and be artists. Before I studied art, because I thought I was learning how to paint, I didn't realise that I had to look at myself in all aspects of what meant, what was important to me. What does it mean to be Māori? What does it mean to be a Māori artist? What does it mean to be an artist? My first art sale was at Nelson Central School. It was pastel on black paper and it was a taniwha, and it sold for $10 at the Suda Art Gallery. There was lots for me. And I also remember doing WOW. I think it was the last year we did WOW with Auntie Lou, and I'm pretty sure
That was fun. Wow, it was fun when it was here.
It was when Jenny Shipley was Prime Minister.
Hi. Keep going.
And so art, you know, we always pride ourselves in our art, for our arts here in Te Tauihu, and we have amazing arts. You know, art is a reflection of life and environment, and we're very blessed. But I felt like that didn't, where was my space as an artist? How do I thrive? When I did professional practice, it was the dream that I'd come in was similar to this. So my heart is crying with greatness to see my auntie do the hard mahi, and in future, hopefully I get to reap some of those benefits. And I too am the same as her, you know, when it comes to asking for, you know, I get whakamā, so I don't. But I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful for all that you have done, and I encourage and implore you to support.
Well, I think we've probably had our time, and is there another question here?
I think it was a comment or something. I know Tom had, I forgot to get back to you about something, and the answer was kei te pai if want and kei te pai if not. Yeah.
I think Tamara has covered it beautifully, but certainly I'd like to support you in any way, and you know, it sounds like a wonderful opportunity. Let's get together and talk about it. You know.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for coming to listen to this and spread the word. We have pledge forms here if anyone's interested, and we started, well, the journey started, but it's the big bit of work is in the next while. Yeah. Got anything else to say?
I'll close
Okay.
when you're
Yeah,
yeah. Karakia is always interesting for all of us. Conversations need to keep happening. We need to be able to talk to each other, and that's why What If is such a good space to be in. My people are from Parihaka, as many of, and ours is very simple. Kia toi te rangi Māori. May peace be with all of you.